Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Sierra and I am currently 36 weeks, let's say Wednesday, 36 weeks, 3 days pregnant. And I have a lot to update you guys on and to talk about. I'll talk about 35 weeks since I'm still in my 36th week. There's just so much I wanted to update you on because I had my appointment yesterday that I felt like it was a good time now. So maybe next week I'll do the rest of the 36 week and 37 week update, or I'm not really sure. But today I'm going to be doing the 35 week update and part of 36 weeks since I'm right in the middle of it. So last week at my appointment, I was 35 weeks, 2 days, and they did the Group B strep, I think that's Group B strep test. I think that's how you say it. Anyways, they did that and she checked me. I gained 3 pounds last week, or not last, I didn't gain them last week, but within that, I think that I had been there 2 weeks prior, and within those 2 weeks I had gained 3 pounds, which, you know, it is what it is, I guess. I'm 2 pounds away from the weight that I was when I delivered May, and so, I mean, I might be a little bit heavier when I deliver this baby, but we'll see. It really doesn't matter. And when she checked me, I was 1 centimeter dilated. This past appointment, she told me, she said 1 centimeter to me might be a fingertip to somebody else because I have a pretty petite doctor. But still 1 centimeter, that's really exciting. I was super, super excited. She said that my cervix was not favorable though, so it didn't seem like it wasn't effaced at all or anything like that, but I was still a centimeter, so that was super, super exciting for me at 35 weeks, 2 days. On Thursday, I think I woke up sick. There's been this bug going around that you're kind of like with a cold and then a stomach sickness too. And I did not feel good at all that day. On top of being pregnant and then being sick, that just makes it so much worse. And anyone that's been pregnant or is pregnant and has been sick knows that it just really takes a toll on you being sick while you're pregnant. So that definitely wasn't fun. Also in the 35th week, I was cramping. I think this started in the 34th week and the 35th, more of like period cramps. You'd usually think that like more Braxton Hicks contractions would do it, but I've heard that when you have period-like cramps, that's also your cervix changing. And so that's exciting too, even though, I mean, who likes cramps, but it was really, I was able to handle them better knowing that hopefully they were doing something. Another thing that I wrote down is that I was definitely not agile. May, our little, she'll be 2 in November, our little daughter, she's been sleeping in a bed now instead of a crib. And I feel like I used to be able to like kick my leg around and roll off the bed after she's fallen asleep or whatever, you know, and I am so not mobile. It's crazy. And I mean, obviously I'm far in this pregnancy, but it's just funny that I noticed, I was like, wow, I'm definitely not agile in the least. The last thing that I wrote down for week 35 is that I used the exercise ball, you know, those yoga balls. I sat on that and it definitely relieved my pain. It definitely relieved like my hip pain or my pelvic floor pain. And it's interesting, I mean, I wasn't fully bouncing on it, I was mostly just rolling on it, and it felt way better. I don't know if it's because it kind of like molded to my body. Yesterday I also sat on my sister's love sack, and for some reason that felt really great too. So maybe it's because of how those like mold to my body, and that's why it feels so good. I don't know, but that's definitely something that's helped me this past week. Now for an update on my 36 week doctor's appointment. So I went in yesterday hoping that I was dilated a little bit more. The week before, so in week 35, she had told me that she had felt the baby's head. So I was like, oh great. For those of you who don't know, my daughter May was breech, and they did a version on her. If you don't know what a version is, I'll probably do a video on that another time, but it's where they on the outside of your belly, they push the baby into the right position. I didn't get pain medication during that. They didn't offer it to me. They just give you a shot. They just gave me a shot in my arm for my uterus to relax so that they could do that and so that I wouldn't have contractions during it. So anyways, that's how it went with May. So I was really excited when she told me that she felt the baby's head, thinking, okay, great, the baby is going down into position and I won't have to worry about that this time. And I had asked her a few weeks ago what the chances are, you know, and I don't know if I'd asked her if she just told me, but she said there's only a 3% chance of babies being breached. So So I mean, I was really hopeful. Anyways, I went into my appointment. They first told me that I'm strep B positive, which I wasn't last time. It's funny, they were explaining to me that it's not any symptoms that we feel, but if the baby goes through the birth canal, I'm pretty sure it's just the birth canal. If the baby goes through there, they could get this sickness. And so, and you can have one pregnancy and not the other, which is just kind of funny. Anyway, so I'm positive this time, which I was like, I mean, there's nothing really, all that they do is give you antibiotics when you go into labor, and they keep an eye on the baby just to make sure that they're not getting that. I guess that what my nurse was saying is that a while ago, I don't know when it was, but there were babies that were being born and then they would get this fever right away, and that's how they figured out about the strep B test, or the strep B sickness, and that's why they check for that now. When she weighed me, I was still the same weight, which I was pretty happy about, that I hadn't gained anything in that week. And so that was exciting. I mean, obviously it's important to gain weight with a baby, but I was glad that I wasn't, you know, the baby's getting what she needs. I mean, she's getting the nutrients, and so it's good for me that I didn't gain anything else just from the stuff that I'm eating too. So she checked me yesterday and I was still at a 1, nothing had changed. And I was like, well, I mean, you can't really expect to change every single week. Lots of times people can stay at a 1 or a 2 or even a 3 or 4, I think, for weeks before they go into labor. But I was a little bit bummed out. Anyway, she told me, she said, I think that I thought I felt the head, but sometimes when you feel the head, it's the sacrum. And so she's like, let me just scan you, do an ultrasound, and see if the baby's head is actually down. And so I was good with that. I mean, obviously I'll take an ultrasound. So she took me in for the ultrasound, and my doctor was checking, and I couldn't, when sometimes the ultrasounds you just cannot tell what you're looking at. Well, at least for me, sometimes I just can't tell what I'm looking at. Anyway, she started doing the ultrasound down where we thought her head would be, and she said, oh, crumb. And I was just kind of like, what? Like, I didn't really know, and she kind of said something, and then she put it right over here, and there was the little baby's head. So she's breech, and May was too, so it's not, I wasn't absolutely like devastated, but I was like, oh, my little babies, for some reason they like to be in that position. And so I asked her, and I think I had asked her, maybe I asked her last time, I don't remember when I heard this, but she was telling me how usually with, I think that I told her a few weeks ago. Anyway, because I had told her about how May was breeched and then they were able to do the version. And she had said something about how usually when baby is breeched, there's lots of times there can be a reason, like your uterus is a little bit deformed a little bit, and so it's more uncomfortable or something like that. But usually if that's the case, then they won't be able to turn the baby during a version. That my doctor was able to turn May. I talked to my mom, maybe my little baby girls just like being in that position. Maybe they're just alike in that way, or I don't really know what it is. But anyways, her head's here. I think when I went and got the version with May, her head was here, her bum was engaged in my pelvis, and her feet were up, I'm pretty sure, which sounds so uncomfortable. I don't really know exactly the position of this baby right now. I know that she's breeched though, and my doctor told me, I told her things that I had tried with May. I tried to put something cold up here and something warm down here so that she would be more likely to move towards the warmth. That didn't work. I tried to like elevate my pelvis, and so that, I don't know why that's a thing, but she told me that somebody had told her that at like 37, 38 weeks, they did a headstand or a handstand. I was like, don't worry, I'm not about to do that. So anyways, she told me, just talk to your baby, try to get her to move around before next week and to get into position. And there's only so much you can really do. But the exciting news is that we have a date set for either an induction or a C-section, and that is dependent on how the version goes. So on September 17th, we're going in. I'm not sure exactly what time, but we're going in. They like to have you in the hospital to do the version just in case you start having contractions or there's something, the baby goes into distress, because they're pushing on your stomach extremely hard. So most likely your baby's heart rate will go up. It was successful with May, which was really amazing. They actually sent me home after that when I was pregnant with May. And then I think it was probably a little more than a week later I was induced, because I had been planning on a C-section. He's like, do you just want to be induced? And I said, yes. It was a day before her due date that she was born. My doctor does it so she wants me to go in, her to try the version, try to do a version on me. And then if it's successful, she wants to break my water so that the baby's head will go down and engage quicker, you know, without all the fluid there. I don't know about, probably quicker actually. And that way you don't really have a chance of the baby going back to breech position. But if the version is not successful, then she's going to do a C-section. And we have that scheduled too. I think that they're scheduling that also. Anyway, so, I mean, my spirits are higher than they were with May. With May, I really wanted a vaginal delivery because I know once you have a C-section, you need to get a VBAC for your next child, and that's not guaranteed. And so I really wanted to have a vaginal delivery. And this time, and my doctor even says, like, obviously we want to have a vaginal delivery, especially since I've already had one. And I'd really like that, but just like with May, I'm getting into my head about a C-section. Once I found out I was having a vaginal delivery with May, I was kind of like stressed because I was like, oh no, I haven't done anything to plan for this. I think May was breached from like a week 32 we found out. So we had a little while, but she never went into position until he did the version. He even tried to move May in the hospital sometimes, just not as hard as he would normally do it, just to see if she would kind of budge, and she wouldn't. But that was a tender mercy going to the hospital with May because I was starting to have contractions, I thought, and they didn't want me to go start having contractions with her breached. And he ended up being in the hospital then and did it then. Anyways, so that's kind of cool for that situation. But I'm preparing, either way I'll be prepared. With a C-section, you can only have one person in there. My mom will be out of town, which is a bummer. But if we have a C-section, she won't be allowed in there anyways, but she'll be there the next day, which will be really good. Anyways, I'm really, really excited that we have a date set now. It's a day before May turns 22 months, so that's exciting. It'll be really exciting to go in, and also to have just a schedule planned. I really wanted to have this baby naturally this time, you know, as in my water breaks at home, or I go into labor at home, and I labor at home for a little while, and then I go in, and, you know, I kind of wanted that. But I mean, I could still have her vaginally. Who knows? We'll see how this baby cooperates. But there's that update. I know it was a huge update on that appointment yesterday, but I wanted to talk about that before too long. Also, here is belly shot of 36 weeks, 3 days. Pretty exciting. Can't wait to meet this baby girl. This week I hope to do a what's in my hospital bag video so that I can show things. I don't know if I need to add different things now, because if I have a C-section, who knows? I need to look at my list and look at my bag and see. But be looking for that, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.